Hi everybody, Marge Twisdale here, and I'm giving you your daily reminder that this ballot is very important and we want to make sure that everybody fills it out, votes for Bernie Sanders, and pops it in the mail. This is a really important part of the process this month, so don't miss your chance. The deadline is May 24th. Okie doke. All right, now also I'm reading an article right now that is based upon a book that was written by Leticia Nieto and Margot Boyer. Okie doke. And the article here is about race, power, status, and understanding oppression. I'm looking at it on the computer here, and I want to read this one paragraph because there's some stuff going on right now in the Democratic Party in the United States of America. And it's really important that we understand this now. We need to spend the next 9 weeks being effective advocates for political revolution and positive change in the country. And it's going to be really hard to do that if we can't figure this issue out. So let me read this. Um, I will include in the bottom of this video the link for where you can find this article. So the paragraph says, the rank layer of interactions is the most complex and troublesome. So we're talking about ranking within a social society, right? Rank refers to a socially constructed system in which some people are socially overvalued, sometimes called privileged, while others are systematically undervalued and subject to oppression. We call these two groups agents and targets, respectively. Now, a very complicated issue, and I can't get into this like in a deep way because I don't myself understand it perfectly. But what I do see going on right now are a couple of things. First of all, let's be really clear. The DNC and the corporate media is trying very hard to create a narrative. And that narrative, that storyline, says essentially that Hillary Clinton is legitimate, that she's up here. She's a first class person running for the nomination of the Democratic Party. Okay? And Bernie Sanders is down here. He is not seen as legitimate. He is seen as more of an outsider candidate, which means the people who support and work for the political revolution are starting to be referred to as Bernie Sanders supporters, as if that's all they are, as if they're no longer Americans, moms, dads, doctors, lawyers, waitresses, nurses. They're no longer people. Now they've literally been labeled and categorized. And the purpose of this is that the DNC wants to make sure that they do what they can to delegitimize Bernie Sanders and to convince not just the supporters of Hillary Clinton that those people can be dismissed, but they actually want to convince the people who do support the political revolution that they themselves are indeed lesser than. And one of the ways we see this playing out is that if you're in a casual conversation, and I'm seeing this on Facebook, in coffee shops, on buses, in classrooms, I'm seeing teachers telling students. There was recently a story about a teacher who told a classroom of students that she hoped that Hillary Clinton would get the nomination and she thought Bernie Sanders was a bully. So there you have a teacher who has a high rank in status in that situation, and she is informing the lower status individuals, the students, of her opinion. It's very much like white privilege, the idea that people sometimes don't recognize the power they actually have, and they just use it without realizing they're doing it. Okay? So Hillary Clinton supporters are demonstrating this by challenging people who currently advocate on behalf of Bernie Sanders, challenging them about how they're planning to vote in November. I have had people say to me, well, if you don't vote for Hillary, that's a vote for Trump. Or people will say, who are you going to vote for in November? And I'll say, well, I haven't decided yet. And they will cut me off and say, well, if we get a Trump presidency, it's going to be your fault and all those Bernie people if they don't vote for Hillary. It blows my mind, actually, that those sentences come out of people's mouths, because the implication is that Hillary, high status, is the obvious winner of this race, that she will be the obvious nominee, as if it doesn't even have to be discussed anymore. And so I just want to put out there, it's really important that we all remember both of the candidates that are in the race right now are legitimate. Whether it's Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, whose platform you appreciate, approve of, and want to see happen in this country, whoever it is that you like, you have a legitimate, high-ranking, valid reason for participating in this primary season, in this race, in this election process. You have all the right to be here, and you have the right to like either candidate. And when it comes to your vote in November, it's really no one's business. This is the United States of America. If we want to talk about politics and we agree to talk about it, go for it. But your vote in November is private for a lot of very good reasons. And no one should be so rude as to demand to know what you're doing or to try to guilt you or pressure you to vote in a particular way. They're not allowed to bribe you, and they really shouldn't be putting pressure on you. It is just wrong on so many levels. And us Americans, we actually know that. You're not supposed to bug people about how they're going to vote. And the fact that it's happening right now, and I only see it Hillary down to Bernie Sanders people. I see this over and over. There's like this real sense of privilege. Hillary supporters in general have received a narrative from the DNC, the corporate media, and whoever else they're listening to that tells them you don't have to treat other Americans with respect if they are supportive of Bernie Sanders. You have permission to go and hassle them about how they're planning to vote, which is pretty un-American. Meanwhile, I don't see Bernie Sanders people feeling the same sense of rank and power to be able to go and demand this of Hillary Clinton voters, people who are saying they like Hillary. There's a lot of communication. I think it's a bad idea. Why would you vote for her? There's conversation around it, but there's not the same layering of I am higher rank than you. So I just think we need to be aware of this, start thinking about it, and remember we're all Americans within the Democratic Party, yes, but also there's other people who are not Democrats who are going to vote in November, and they are decent, awesome Americans as well. They are legit. They have the right to their opinion, to their thoughts, to their ideas, and no one should be badgered about how they're planning to vote in November, especially when the primary season is 9 weeks from being completed. Okie doke. So, a reminder to people to treat other people with respect, to recognize the what's going on with this narrative, to try to blow it off and ignore it. If you believe the story, you become a part of the story. So Bernie Sanders supporters out there, I encourage you to decide you are legitimate, you have every right to be here, and to not walk into any environment with a sense of defensiveness, because if someone else attacks you, that's wrong on their part, but you haven't done anything to earn that, and you do not deserve to be treated that way. So everybody, when this ballot shows up in the mail, please fill it out, vote for Bernie Sanders. You have till March 24th to do that, and I'll see you around the island. Bye.